Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
On this episode of Partnerships for Profit, we are joined by Brian F. LaBovick, founder of LaBovick Law Firm, best-selling author of Not a Good Neighbor, and a true warrior for justice. With more than 30 years of trial experience, Brian has taken powerful insurance companies and built one of Florida's leading personal injury firms. His best-selling book pulls back the curtain on the insurance industry, revealing how everyday people are misled and denied the justice they deserve. Today, he's here to share with us what it really takes to fight for clients in the courtroom, in business, and for life. Brian, what's up, man?
What is going on? That was a great intro. I love the singing.
Oh, you like that?
Never sung it before.
I mean, how do you not? How do they not sing that part?
I don't know. Like, I was doing it when it first came out, and people were like, yeah, Not a Good Neighbor, whatever. But it's so clear that you're supposed to sing it, right?
Come on. All right,
you.
Look. If you need me to like do a pre-recording for when you go on other podcasts, it's like, please hear how the song goes.
That's it. I may just play your podcast at the other podcasts.
They'll love that. Yeah, they'll love that. Brian, I want to go back before we jump into kind of the history, because you've got a lot going on. But I love kind of your story I'd found on one of your web pages, and talked about kind of you growing up as a kid and what really got you into wanting to fight for people.
What was it?
You on that bus ride.
Wait.
So growing up as a kid, I'll do you. Growing up as a kid, I was bullied a lot.
The bully story.
There it is.
Off the bus. Yeah. It was off the bus. I was bullied, but it wasn't on the bus per se. But yes, I got it. Okay. I know where you're going now. I think that there's so many guys that I know, especially in my profession, that have had that kind of formative experience where you had to stand up to a bully in some way, shape, or form. And mine was, I was pretty young, and I was riding the bus, and I had a kid, Stevie Davis, on the bus. And when we would get off the bus, we would get off at Stevie Davis's house, and then I have to go like 6 houses down to my house. And I'd get off the bus, and immediately he would want to start fighting. So I kept running home and crying that Stevie Davis was beating me up. And one day my father said, okay, you need to go out and face the bully, because I'm going to beat you up in here worse if you don't go out and face the bully. So we had that very tough love, like, you need to go and face the bully and face him down. I went outside. I ran away again, and he chased me. And it's silly, but he chased me as a kid. And then I dropped to my knees, and he tripped over me. And then I got up and I jumped on him, and I punched him in the face about 4 times. And after that, we were friends. Like, then it was like guys got over it. And I realized, like, it was super fun. By the time I was done, I was super happy. And then after that, honestly, guys are guys, right? So I grew up and I bullied some kids when I got bigger. And, then I got bullied more when I was smaller again. And, So
we don't learn lessons quick, it usually takes a cycle or two.
It's kind of like dogs, like I watch the dogs in the dog park, and there's one dominant dog, and he gives a roof to everybody else, and everybody gets in line, and the pack follows him.
Was there a point in your life that kind of reset that mindset for you when it came into trial law and like dealing with insurance companies?
So it was a couple things. My dad was an insurance agent, and so I grew up with a dad who was selling insurance, and he was not like a highfalutin selling, wealthy people insurance agent. We lived in suburban Ohio, and he sold a lot of farmers and a lot of plumbers and a lot of carpenters. And he was selling them plans that, God forbid they die, that their family and children would be taken care of, because they were the sole breadwinner. When I was growing up, a lot of moms stayed at home. We had a lot of stay-home moms. Like, every mom I knew was a stay-home mom. I didn't know many moms that were like double work in the family. And so if the dad died, they were out of luck, So he would sell them a policy. And unfortunately, a lot of these people didn't realize how important it was to be fully disclose fully every possible way that the insurance company could get out of the contract. And so sometimes my dad would hear that he sold a policy, somebody had passed, And then the insurance policy was saying they defrauded them on the contract, they didn't disclose something, made it hard for them, and sent them back their premiums, but wouldn't pay off on the policy. And nothing bothered my father worse than that growing up, right? And so that led me to believe two things. Number one, that insurance companies had no honor at all, and they had no. There's a Yiddish word. I'm Jewish, so there's a Yiddish word that I grew up with, rachmunus, and rachmunus means pity, basically, or caring or feeling of empathy toward this other person that's in this terrible situation. And insurance companies have no rachmunus for the humanity of people, and all they care about is their own, monetary solvency, and they don't care about the human tragedy that suffers what they do. And so when they would do that, he would get really upset. And if I stepped out of line one bit like this, physical punishment was a thing that was very apparent in the 1960s and early 70s, and I suffered that a lot. So I learned to hate the insurance companies when I was young. Two things happened. I like to fight, and I saw them as a great target to fight back against. So when I finally grew up, and then I had this very formative experience where I, ran my own traffic ticket, I won, and I realized that I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a prosecutor more than anything. So after I did that for a couple of years, I realized that I really wanted to prosecute insurance companies. And so then I got out, and that's all I've done for 35 years.
Man, it's like you were raised in the Kumite to be prepared for this.
Yeah, it was like, it really is comic booky about it, right?
It's like your Mortal Kombat
insurance companies, So yeah, I do. I have a real prejudice. Yeah.
What would you say is one of because you talk about it in your book and you go into some of the myths that insurance companies like people to think or reasons not to do anything?
So they like you to believe that they're on their side. They like you to believe that you can tell them what's going on in your life and that they're there to help you. They want you to believe that they care about the person in the interviews that they give. They train their adjusters to be empathetic and apologetic and very informative, but in a way that they are always digging and always searching for that moment of weakness where you say or do something that allows them to escape the responsibility that they signed on for in the contract. And the minute that contract allows them any out, they will take it and they won't care. There's no real out. And I'm going to tell you a terrible story that I just suffered. All right. And it's a personal story again. My father sold insurance for an insurance company, for a certain insurance company, for over 45 years. Yeah. Since I've been a kid, he's been with the same company, right? He is historically one of their top salesmen in the history of the company. He was there forever. I've got jackets that they've given him. He went on trips. He went on the QE2. He went on the Concorde jet. They sent him all over the place. They treated him like gold when he was selling, right? And in the 1980s, he bought a long-term care policy for he and my mom. And he's been faithfully paying those long-term care premiums until recently. And now my father has been diagnosed with dementia, pre-Alzheimer's, and we didn't realize how bad it had gotten. And he allowed my mom's policy to lapse. And now they're both in a place where they're getting very close to being in assisted living. And the minute that policy lapsed, his company, with his thing, canceled him. Wow. They canceled her, well, not him, but her. And they will not reinstate her, even though I explained that it was an Alzheimer's situation, that he was, this, he was that. I never got my notice because I'm supposed to be the secondary notice. They've said they sent it to me. I never saw it. I would have been attentive to that had I seen it. And so his own company, after being a great employee, after being one of their best employees, faithfully working for them for years, has just screwed him out of my mom's. His is still intact because he paid his premium, thank God. He's the one who really needs it more than her, but she's going to need it too because she's becoming very disabled. So it's a matter of time. And we're now out of luck on that policy. So what is that? 40 years of premiums and no benefits.
God.
So you know why I hate insurance companies.
Yeah. Boy, I got some guys that will not go by names, but if you ever need them, I won't.
I need some help, brother.
Okay, I won't. I'll
Yeah,
email you
I'm
later.
telling you, it makes you wonder, like who the
God,
real bad guys are in the world.
always, always. And I think that's always kind of a factor, especially I feel like after COVID and everyone kind of stayed home for a while and started kind of really figuring out what was going on in the world. I feel like
Yeah,
that's been a lot of things where people are starting to double look at the things they just trusted for so long.
yeah, 100%.
I feel like you guys are that warrior mentality is going to be put to use a lot more.
Interestingly, when I came out of law school, the world was very anti-trial lawyer.
Yeah.
I was a prosecutor. I was a federal prosecutor for a couple of years. My wife was a prosecutor for Janet Reno for 3 years, and then we started out in the civil world. And when we came out, the word trial lawyer was almost a dirty word, and it was so bad that a few years into my practice, there was a giant convention of trial lawyers, and we changed the name of our national organization to the American Association for Justice instead of the American Trial Lawyers Association, because we were so afraid of the moniker trial lawyer, and we didn't own it, and because it was just like so negative, these scummy ambulance chasing trial lawyers, So now, post COVID, I feel like trial lawyers have become the new hero of the post COVID world, holding really big business and billionaires and people that are taking advantage of other people accountable for the evils that they do in a free society. And the front of my phone, when it's on lock, says there cannot be a free society. I gotta move this up. Hold on. There cannot be a free. Oh my God. There cannot be a free society without the people having the ability to right the wrongs of the powerful. I wanted to get it right, and I look at that every day. I look at that all the time. It's on my phone all the time.
Yeah, I feel I was reading through and between your past, your wife's history in law, and then as you kind of started building your firm, I feel like you're starting your own little justice league to go out there and attack through the
I'm not alone. There's a lot of really good people in my community, really strong people that are just so bought into helping people. We help each other. We fight fiercely, like you see all the people with ads and stuff like that. I'm one of them. So we have ads on TV, ads on billboards. We have online ads. We've got PPC and LSAs and whatever else, like all this competition for the business.
Yeah.
But once we have it, like once it's your case, everybody helps. Like everybody pitches in. So today we are in trial on a very, very significant case. I was in court, and the defense of the case did not disclose some very important policy documents in this case. They just failed to disclose them. When we found out about them, we brought it to the court for motion for sanctions, and they said, oh, here they are. Sorry, Judge. And they gave them to us. And now it's a 3-week-long trial. We rested 3 days ago. And in the defense case, one of their experts came out and said, oh, no, that's not the right policy. Here's the right policy. And they changed the policy on us, right? Now, this is absurd. Like, it's an absurd thing, right? That they're just hiding this stuff from us. But because I have this group of people that I'm friends with in the plaintiff's bar, I already had an order from a month ago for the same firm with the same thing in the same type of case, similar format of case, that did it a month ago. And while I was in court, I got a text from another lawyer who's having the same thing happen that's going in trial in a month from now. So our community is very tight, and we catch these defendants when they do it wrong, and we hold their feet to the fire hard.
Yeah.
So,
that's amazing, because now, that kind of support, you guys have a lot more to stand on when it's like, this isn't the first time.
Yeah. Yep.
Man.
100%.
So let's jump into the book for a sec. You talk about, kind of, I feel like there's a lot of self-empowering for the individuals, not even necessarily having to make it to a law firm, but just them themselves understanding how to protect themselves.
Yeah.
What kind of backlash did you face industry-wise putting this kind of focus into, like, I'm telling you, what are you telling people not to use this? Like, what are you doing?
So I got to tell you, just very candidly, I'm kind of a rebel within the rebel group, right? it's just been my motif. And if you were to talk to lawyers and they were to candidly talk about Brian LaBovick and his participation in the trial group and some of the things that they've tried to do and some of the things that I've done to do what I think is the right thing, for us as the people of the state of Florida, and what they thought was the right thing, they would say Brian beats to his own drum if they were being nice. Okay. So it is my kind of mentality that I do what I want, and it's just who I am. Right. So when I did this book, I think that they thought this was just very typical. My friends just thought, yeah, this is typical Brian, like he's going to give away our stuff and make it harder for us all to do this. But it really wasn't the intent of what I was trying to do. I did get razzed about it, but I think they knew that this is just me. I'll give you a for instance on that first thing so you know how bad it is. The trial lawyers have a big lobbying organization, right? They lobby for the laws of the state to try to protect people, and they're always fighting against corporate entities and hospital entities and insurance entities that try to take away people's rights and make it harder to get justice under the law, right? And we fight all the time, and every single year there's a battle for more tort reform that hurts people's abilities to fight. Just a couple of years ago, we had major tort reform. I don't think that people realized it when they voted or when the legislature voted this, but all of your homeowners claims now won't get attorney's fees as an award, which means you have to pay your own attorney, so that if your house has a $50,000 roof that needs to be redone and you're fighting about it with your insurance company and they offer you $40,000 or $30,000 and you say, I'm going to get a lawyer and sue, they're like, well, you do that, win 50, pay the lawyer 20, you get 30 anyways, you might as well take 30 now. So all that did is create a deductible of huge expense for the people of the state of Florida. So that's what we fight against, things like that, right? And we had a big concept of whether we needed one type of auto insurance versus another type of auto insurance. And the trial lawyers wanted one type of auto insurance, and I wanted the other type. I believe the other type was better for the state and the people of the state. And more than that, the hospitals of the state needed this to stay solvent, okay? And I think we need hospitals to be solvent. So I took out ads from every major newspaper, full-page ads, calling out the greedy trial lawyers for trying to change the laws and asking the governor to veto the law, and he did. And so I am like persona non grata with some people in the trial bar.
That's great. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. You just got to do what's right for your conscience, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm like, you got to do what's right. So I'm that way with a lot of issues, but yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a conservative at nature, so that's not a typical trial lawyer. Most trial lawyers are more on the liberal side. I'm bipartisan. I like bipartisan thinking, but I am more of a conservative than I am of a liberal.
That's understandable. You also, I had one of the other quotes I'd pulled from yours that I really liked. You had said something about compassion being more important sometimes in litigation.
Yeah. So our mission statement, and we came up with it, and it was really a long, hard process to get every word right, is to maximize justice by aggressively fighting for our clients' rights. And you'll notice in there, none of that says to maximize the money for clients who are in accident cases, right? It's not what it says. It says maximize justice. And for some people, justice isn't monetary, right? For some people, they want a certain thing in a case, and you have to listen to your client, empathize with where they are, recognize what you can do under the law, and get them to the closest place where they're going to be happy in the end and service them more than service the pocketbook. So we teach our core values: fight to win, passion to serve, relentless innovation, and own it, every single week. And we talk about behavior patterns that relate to that. But whenever somebody asks me a question, they know my first question back to them is always, what's in the best interest of the client? And they have to answer that in one way, which is do what's right, not what's easy. And that's how we run the firm all the time. So you can see kind of the motif that I run on here.
Yeah.
Honestly, people say, oh my gosh, this is great and you're so good in this and that. But the truth is that if you stick by those principles, it makes it easy to make decisions, win cases, make people happy, have good clients, have good relations, have happy judges, have happy co-counsels, opposing counsels, treat people fairly, do the right thing, not the easy thing. Sometimes the right thing under the law is something that may even hurt your case. And you may want to not disclose, or you may want to try to obfuscate, or you may want to try to do something that gets you somewhere that's a little bit on the edge of ethicalness. And you just have to resist that. And you can do that if you have very clear standards.
Yeah. Before I let you go, I want to jump into, because your firm basically was skyrocketing. You guys kind of plateaued, skyrocketed a little while, and then you kind of plateaued. And you talked about some of the different things that you did to kind of, one, go back into some different business books and things like that. And one of the ones you held on to was 5 Golden Steps to Law Firm Management. What was some of the things that you could kind of give tips to firms trying to find that next level of growth and where they should maybe put their focus first?
Yeah. So the book that I love the most is The 5 Dysfunctions of Team, which is, I think, the person that you're thinking of as Pat Lencioni, which is a management consultant. Correct. 5 Dysfunctions of Team. And the base level of that is team trust. So if you are looking at your team and you're saying, why are we not moving forward? I can almost when I do consulting, because I do consulting for law firms for free, quite honestly, because people are like, you have this whole cultural thing and I like to hear about it, and I'm happy to do free consulting. It's just fun. It almost always boils down to this concept that you have 2 things, which is the culture performance axis. So you got culture and performance on an axis, right? So the people in the top right are both high in culture and high in performance. So they're your A players, right? Then you got people that are kind of lower in performance, but very strong in culture. Those are kind of your B players. You got to coach them up, right, to get their performance up. You got low performance, low culture. Those are like, get them off the team because they're, just lazy, do nothing people. And then you've got the people that are high performance, low culture. And that's always where the problem is, almost invariably in a firm. Because a firm, you need money, you need performance, and they end up selling out team trust, team culture, team mission, because one person is outperforming everybody else, but ruining the culture because they're poisonous there. And if you tolerate that, your business won't go anywhere. It'll continue to stall. And I teach that all the time. And I think that's one of my most favorite and powerful lessons about how to get your business to get to the next level. Bite the bullet, take a step back, and get the high performance, low cultured people off your game plan and get everybody else to move the company forward.
Yeah, because I would assume the fear is that if I let go of my one high performer, that's where my money's at, but it's also killing the trust of everyone else.
That's it. And I promise you that everybody else, even a little bit better, will outperform the guy or girl, woman that is the high performer right now.
Yeah.
Because everybody else on your team is saying that person's more important than all of us put together. That person's more important than the team culture that he's trying to inhibit. That person's more important than any of the missions that we go on.
So why work harder?
Why work harder? Why be here at all? They start looking around. No one wants to be there. Your other team players that are strong players are all looking around for other jobs. So you're losing them.
Yeah.
Right. So anybody good is going to bolt. Anybody terrible is going to have to stay, and you're not going to be able to fire them because now you have nobody on the team who's willing to work with the jerk who's making the real money.
Fair game.
Fair game, brother.
All right.
This is fast.
This has been a blast.
Yeah.
I told you when we got on that I would be more than happy to do an hour if I possibly could, because you had tons of stuff going on that I thought was really interesting. So hopefully we'll just bring you back and we'll have another chat again soon.
Go. I enjoyed talking to you guys. This is one of the best podcasts ever.
I appreciate that. I had a good time. Where's the best place everybody can get to you?
My last name is my place. So you see that name right there? I think it's there. There we go. It's backwards on this thing. So there. So it's LaBovick, and you can look that up. LaBovick.com, 1-866 LaBovick. But easier, if you want it, you can text it. Like, you can do anything to it. But 888-8888, area code 561-888-88, like all eights, call 8, don't wait. That's our gig. So that's easy too.
Thank you so much. Everybody, I hope you guys got so much out of that. Like it, share it, drop us some comments, and you guys can reach out to what he's got going on over there. Because like I said, that we literally just kind of like scratched on the surface, because Brian's got a lot of depth on this website. If y'all can start there and then reach out.
New website's coming, so check it out in about a month.
Right.
September 15th, we're redoing the whole thing.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That's its own game right there. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.